Hello, everyone, and welcome to JoJo's Mojo. On today's show, I have Miss BEENIE MANN. How are you doing today?
I'm awesome. Hi, thank you for having me.
I'm so excited about our interview today. And I wanted to ask you where we met, because a lot of the people here that I interview, I've met and I'm found, having good relationships with them. So where did we meet?
We met was it the end of October here in Colorado Springs at the Ultimate Speaker Competition. Yeah.
Wow. How did you like that?
It was a really good experience. It was fun being on stage, because I took the year off. I walked away from everything and just took the year off. So that was a really nice way to get back into the groove of things, to get back on stage. And then, of course, meeting you was like bonus.
Yes, it's a bonus to meet you too as well.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go out for a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to BEENIE a little bit more about what she's doing right now to help the world. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to JoJo's Mojo. We're here with BEENIE MANN. It is so great to have you again. Welcome back, everyone. We're going to start asking BEENIE about her books, because she has a couple. And so I'm just going to let you take the floor. So what's your first book that you want to introduce to us today?
Okay, thank you. So the first book I want to introduce, actually, my dog wrote it. And you're thinking, it's like, wait a minute, how can your dog write a book? How is that even possible? So make a short story long. No, wait, that's what I tell my husband. Make a long story short. There we go. My best friend can communicate with animals, and she has a certain giggle when Mo pipes in the conversation. And one day while we were talking on the phone, she had this giggle, and all I could think of, oh, now what does he want? And she laughs and she said, well, he decided it's time for you to write his book now. Since you've wrote yours, it's time for his. And I said, sure, let's do this. So the way we did it, she came over to my house because my dog Mo lives here, of course, So she came over and we were cramming here in my little desk with a microphone, her, me, and Mo. And Mo was telling her what to say. And we recorded the chapters. And it was fun because she asked me, it's like, so what's the first chapter? And I laughed and I said, on my book, ask the dog.
Well, she was the one that came up with it.
Here we go. We have Mo's book, Mo the Service Dog, because every dog has a purpose. And it was really important for Mo to let everybody know that they all have a purpose. And it doesn't matter if it's a dog, a cat, a horse, or whatever. Okay, they all have a purpose. And it was important for him to share his story. And we did a lot of networking, of course, with Corona and everything. That all came to a screeching halt, which really did a number on my dog, because he's Mr. Social Butterfly. And one of the chapters is actually called Stardom, because he believes he's a star. He has a Facebook page. It's Mo the Service Dog. People can follow. And his dream is to make his story into a movie, because there's so many comical incidences that happen when we did the service dog training and throughout the whole thing. But what he really wants to convey is the importance of service animals. There's so much, there's so many people who just slap a service dog vest on their dog, and it's like, oh, my dog is a service dog, just so they can bring their pet. And a lot of times they're ill-behaved everywhere. With Mo, he put a lot of work and effort in this. Well, we both did. I hired us a trainer, and honestly, I needed more training than he did. So there's that. But it was really important for him to get that out. And he would love to have this in a movie at some point, just to get it out, to really raise awareness for the whole service animal community. So Mo the Service Dog.
I think that is probably the first time I've heard of this idea, and I think that we could work on this to try to make that a reality for you in your dreams. Because at Mupo Entertainment, I'm so excited, because this is like my first season actually my second season, and I'm really excited about, and I'm so glad to have you here. Now, do you have another book that you want to introduce to us?
Yes, I do. Actually, I have two more. So this one, it's called Happiness Matters. And it's 365 days plus one of inspiration. And also it is, I post daily posts of inspiration on my business page. And all I did really is put them into a book. So there's that. And then this is the book that started it all for me. It's called Happiness Matters, Unleash Your Superpower in 7 Easy Steps. And I wrote this because I really truly want to help people. And I want to show people it's like, yes, we all go through dark times. I mean, I share a lot of my story in my book here, but what I did is I share some of the steps that I took to pull me out of it and really truly find my happiness. And I just wanted to share that with people. And it's you can read it. It's like, oh, I want to get the dirt on BEENIE. You know, you can read that for that, or you can read it as a workbook and do the exercises that are in there. That's totally up to you. Or you can do both. It's like, ooh, really? I had no idea. So it's just fun. And then currently I'm working on a project because, again, I really want to help people. And I know what writing my story has done for me and how much it has helped me to work through a lot of the darkness, a lot of the shadows, and a lot of all the junk that happened growing up and, you know, all throughout the years and everything. And I also know how much it helps me when I can read other people's stories who have been through similar things, because first and foremost, it lets me know, oh my gosh, I'm not alone. Because for the longest time, I really thought I'm all alone.
Yes.
I'm the only one going through this. Nobody understands. Nobody is there to help me. I mean, and we've all experienced that. We all have. And it's like, so what I'm working on is actually a Happiness Matters series. And I'm collecting stories from people. So you listeners, if you want to share your story, please, 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 please share your story. And it's really up to 1,400 words. So it's poof, done. It's really short. And it really is all about inspiring, encouraging, motivating people. But most of all, it's like, I want to give hope. Because books have given me so much hope, whether it was a fantasy, you know, or it was a true story. But it's like seeing that, it's like seeing what's possible. It's like, you know, fanning this is like, because for a while, there was no hope left for me.
Right.
There really
So how does one put their chapter in your book?
You can go to my website, mattersofperspective.com, and it'll guide you there. It'll show you the story guidelines and everything. Or you can email me at story@mattersofperspective.com. Same thing.
Okay, that sounds awesome.
Me through social media. So,
okay.
Yeah. But yeah,
now,
books.
That's awesome. Hey, I have a question for you. If I wanted to write a book, because I've never written my own, and I know there's a lot of people that want to, what would be the first step that I would go through to start my book?
First of all, just start writing. Don't worry about, because I know when I first started my book, I knew for a long time I should write a book because people should hear and to give hope and everything. But there was this big, huge fear. Oh, I'm not good enough. You know, I'll never make it. Is it really enough to write a whole book? Any of that. And then actually with this one, I wrote and published it in under 3 months because it was time. But here's me. I told the universe, like, fine, you want me to write the book? Give it to me. And it just came out. But what I tell others who want to write a book, just start writing. Just the process of writing. It doesn't have to make any sense. It doesn't have to have anything to do with the book you want to write. Just get into the habit. You know, set yourself a timer like 15, 30 minutes, you know, and just start writing. If it still flows by the time the timer goes off, keep on writing. Don't stop just because the timer goes off. And make it fun. Just make it fun. Have fun with it. The other thing you can do if you really, really don't want to write, have it transcribed. There's a program out there. I use otter.ai. We actually used that for most book, you know, and because of my friends, like we recorded everything and then I had it transcribed through there. And yes, it's AI, so you have to go through and really clean it up and everything, but it really helps to get your thoughts out on paper. So you don't have to write.
I like that idea.
I know, right? It's like, oh, This is
Well, the
great.
hand can get a little cramped there.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is it's like what I find a lot of times, because I mean, I have blocks and stuff, you know, when I start talking and recording and I put it into the program and it prints it out and I read it, I was like, oh, well, I can tweak this here. And it's a lot easier because now I'm focused on what's in front of me. And I'm not worried about, oh, what am I going to write? What am I going to say? Blah, 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 blah. You know, plus with that, you can just edit right there as you go.
Awesome. Now, do you publish your own books?
Yes. I have a publishing company. I started publishing because here's the thing. And that was advice I got from an author coach, actually. And that was the question. It's like, are you self-published? And very proudly, I said, oh, yes, I'm self-published. I'm so proud of myself. He goes, yeah, no, you're not. I was like, you know, and he said, you want to independent publish. And I looked at him, I'm like, well, what does that mean? And he said, very simple. He said, when you write a book, people look at you like, wow, you wrote a book. That is amazing. When you say you have a publisher, it's even more amazing. Do you see what I'm saying? So he suggested that I create a publishing company and publish under that label, and preferably it has nothing to do with your name, with your business, with nothing. So when people see it, it's not easily connected. So mine is called Good Spirit Publishing.
Okay, well, thank you for telling me that.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that a publisher does help give you a little bit more clout. I know that in most things in our lives, we try to do them ourselves. And we're doing
don't get me wrong, I
disservice.
still publish myself. I still do all of that. And there's still, I mean, I still have a lot to learn and everything, you know, but having that label on the book, see?
Yes.
Over
yes.
Here, right there.
Yes.
It's
awesome.
Like, oh, she has a publisher.
Right.
You see what I mean? So
okay.
The credibility goes from, oh, she wrote a book to, oh, wow, and she has a publisher.
Yeah, credibility is very important. That's what I've learned in the book compilations. We pay to have somebody do it for us, but it's better to write our own.
Yes.
Because the credibility is not in the book.
Mm-hmm. Well, plus
so
the other thing too is I love doing anthologies, and I'm in a few, and I love them. I absolutely love them and everything. It's like when you write your own book, you have all the control. You know, when you're part of somebody's, you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I love, like I said, it's like, and again, I'm putting one together myself, you know, where I'm collecting stories, and it's just, I just love it because it also gives people, it's like, yeah, I'm a published author. You don't have to publish a whole book to be a published author.
Right.
You know, you can be in a book to be a published author. And oh, get this, just recently, I'm an internationally published author.
I am too as well. It's really exciting.
I was like, yay. Yeah, I wrote an article for my school in Germany. I went to boarding school in Germany, and they have this magazine that they bring out, I think quarterly or yearly, I don't even know. And I was asked to write about my time at the school and what it's done for me and what I'm doing now. And it was, the funny thing was, of course, it was all in German because I was born and raised in Germany, right? So when I was asked to do that, I said, yes. And here's the other thing, guys. When opportunity knocks, say yes. Say yes. And then you can say, oh, crikey, now what do I do? Okay, and then you figure it out. But say yes. Say yes. So I said yes. And then as soon as that came out, I was like, oh, man, I have not written anything in German. I mean, literally in decades. I do everything. I mean, English is my primary language. Yeah, I was born and raised over there. You know, I met my husband when I was in my 20s. But since then, English has become my primary language. And to write something in German, I've freaked out. So thank you, Google Translate. Thank you, Microsoft Word Translate, to re-jog my memory, you know, and get the juices flowing again. So I was able to do it.
That's funny. But
here's the thing, say yes. I mean, the tools that we need are out there. Don't be afraid to use them. Don't be afraid to ask for help. You know, just jump in, and it's like, yep, I'm learning to swim as I'm in the water. And if you're just treading, that's fine too. Keep going. That's
right. Never give up.
Nope. Nope. So it's really fun. So yeah, that's how that happened.
Sounds like a lot of fun, because being creative is like really important for our brains, for
Oh
our
yeah.
health. And a lot of us stifle that. So we're going to go out for a commercial break. When we come back, I'd like to talk to Beanie a little bit more on a personal level, a
Ooh,
little bit what her struggle was, and then how she came out of her struggle.
okay.
We'll see you when we get back on. Hello and welcome back to JoJo's Mojo with Beanie. I am so happy to have you with me, and I'm excited about reading your books, seeing your movie. I love your dog. I've met him once. He's amazing, amazing, amazing. I want to ask you, what was your bottom? Because that's what my show's about, going from zero to hero. And everyone on my shows did not stay stuck. And so I want to ask you what your story is on that.
So I hit my lowest point. It was beginning of 2004. The physical and mental pain was so much. It was too much. And I really contemplated suicide. I was really ready. I was done. I was physically, mentally, I was done. You know, stick a fork in me, done. And if it were not for my children and my husband, I would not be here. So my husband at the time was an active duty soldier in the Army, and he was gone a lot. And I knew my kids needed me. So for my kids and my husband, I stayed. But in that moment, when I decided to stay, I also made the decision to take charge of my life and do stuff that lifts me up. And the first thing I did was I decided to go get a college degree. So mind you, at that point, born and raised in Germany, all right, I decided I'm going to go to college. I'm going to get me a degree with the University of Maryland, Europe, because they had like this, satellite campuses on the bases in Germany. But I was so scared, because here's the thing. I graduated German high school in 88. And here it is 2004. Okay. So I was scared to go back to school. Bless my husband. I love him so much. We just celebrated 33 years together. And he actually signed up for the same class as me, so I don't have to go by myself.
Aww. That's beautiful.
So, yeah, it was, I love him so much. So I started in the spring semester. In August of 2004, I underwent gastric bypass surgery because of all the emotional eating and all the junk prior. The day of surgery, I actually weighed 370 pounds. Okay. So I decided it was do or die. That year, 2004, for me was literally do or die. So I decided on gastric bypass surgery, which, thank you. And I just took little steps from there. Moving forward, what can I do next? What can I do next? And as I was feeling better, it was something really interesting happened. I lost friends. And of course, I went into that pattern we all do, that victimhood is like, what's wrong with me? What did I do? Blah, 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 blah. We do all that self-blame, and we do all this poor me baloney. And then all of a sudden it dawned on me, because I lost friends that I've been friends with for a long time. I made new friends and I lost them fairly quickly. That really did not help my self-esteem. And I was like, I couldn't figure out, like, what's wrong with me? Like, I was really, that hit me hard. And then I realized, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm growing. I was growing so fast they weren't willing to keep up or grow themselves. So I left them all in the dust, and this hasn't changed. You know, I mean, fortunately, I have a lot of awesome people in my life now that are like, hey, what are you doing? We want to learn what you're doing because, wow, you know, we want to run with you, which is fabulous. But along the way, it's like we grow and then we leave people behind. And it has nothing to do with us or them. You know, it's just the way it is. And that took me a long time to really make peace with it and wrap my brain around that it's like, oh, I'm okay with that. And I learned along the way that because I was running so much, I mean, I was the wife, I was the mom, you know, I was the family support group person, you know, with our unit and all of this for everybody. But I left me and my needs and my wants behind in the dust. Because I mean, we were raised, it was like, oh, well, what will neighbors think? It's like, don't be selfish, blah, 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 all of that junk. Well, guess what? You can't pour from an empty cup. If the cup is empty, if you are empty, there's nothing to give. It's just like when your phone battery is dead, you can't make a phone call. It's that simple. When our batteries are empty, it's done. I mean, it's done. We have nothing to give. But we are at this point because we're so conditioned that it's like, oh, you have to help others, you have to give to others, that we totally put ourselves so far on the back burner, and then we're burned out, we're in deep down depression, you know, and we're gonna like, you know, or we find so I mean, for me it was food, for others, you know, drugs, alcohol, gambling, whatever, you know, to fill that void. And what it is, it's like self-love. Love yourself.
Yes.
Love yourself. It starts with you. I mean, here's the thing. You really are the center of your universe. You really are. Everything in your life revolves around you. You know,
that's
how
right.
you see inside is how you see the world outside, because the reflection without is a reflection from within. And it's like, and no, it's not selfish. I mean, of course, you know, if you take advantage of everybody you meet and you just suck them dry, I mean, that's a different story. But if you take care of yourself first, like a Maslow hierarchy of needs, prime example, you know, take care of your basic needs first. It's like in the airplane, they don't ask you to put the mask on the person next to you. They tell you to put the mask on you first, because you're no good if you're gasping for air trying to help everybody else. And hello, this is no different. This is no different. And it took me, so what, I'm 50 some now.
Yeah, but
so
the wisdom,
it took me a long time, and I'm still catching myself in those old patterns because they're so deeply ingrained in us. And it's those habits, and it's like, and then the fear of change. Oh my God, I'm so scared. What are you really afraid of? And here's an example I use, and I love that. Remember when you were a teenager and you became of age to drive? Remember that?
Oh my God.
Remember how excited you were? Finally, the day came. You were allowed to sit behind the wheel to drive, and you were like, oh my God, I'm so excited. And then you sit behind the wheel and sheer fear overcomes you. Because yeah, it's great. I mean, you're still excited that you're behind the wheel, because it's like, oh, I'm going to be free and I can do this and this and this and this. At the same time, you're paralyzed by fear because now there's so many things you have to pay attention to all of a sudden. Right? I mean, you have to shift the gears, you have the gas, the brakes, the look around, the I mean, boom, it's overwhelming. Right?
Yes.
And here's the thing, you did it anyway, because you really wanted to drive, because you could see past the fear.
Yes.
You can see past the fear. And let me show you. Because it is, hold on, can I hold this? Oh, how can I do this? Oh, here we go. Yeah, false evidence appearing real.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what fear is. So you did it anyway because you were so excited. And now when you get in the car, you don't even think about it. Now you think
Right.
about it, it's like, oh my gosh, I have to get this. I mean, you think about the stuff on your grocery list. You think about the people you need to call. You da da da. I mean, you think about everything, but actually, what you need to do to drive. That's the habit, because now it's a habit for you.
Second nature.
Right. It's that habit, and everything that we do. That and I call it autopilot. When we run on autopilot, all of that, and we're so conditioned to be on autopilot. And I catch myself all the time. Okay. Because I mean, it is so deeply ingrained, but it's like to start being in the moment and pay attention. It's like, wait a minute, why am I doing this? Is this actually serving me, or is it just keeping me locked up where I don't really want to be because, ew.
Yeah, I have learned the older I get to listen to that. And once I started listening, it got better, my life.
Right. And it's like, and learning to set boundaries. And I tell people, it's like, rip off that Band-Aid. People will adjust.
Oh,
They
yeah.
will adjust. And if they don't, guess what? They were just takers anyway. You don't need them in your life.
That's correct. I agree with you 100%.
I mean, it's a tough lesson, don't get me wrong, because we all want to be liked. I mean, as humans, we want to be liked, we want to be loved, we want to be part of something. But it's like, if it's taken away from your happy, should you?
No, not at all. Not
Right.
at all. And the messages that they've sent out there for centuries, especially for women, is that they're more important than we are.
It's absolutely. And it's just not so.
No.
It is not so. You are the most important person in your life.
That's right.
It's like, I used to a lot when my husband was deployed, with the other spouses and children. I mean, my kids were young at the time and everything. But my kids were always okay. I mean, they were still getting their A's in school. They were still doing all of that. And I had so many other moms ask me, it's like, how'd you do it? I mean, my kids are like walking all over. It's like, why'd you let them? And it's like, aren't you worried about your husband? I said, don't get me wrong. I'm worried about him every single day. But I don't let that control me. I'm not sitting at the phone hoping that he will call, and then that one time where I have to go out because I have to get groceries, that's when he calls. And then I beat myself up. I mean, I've seen it over and over. And I mean, he's been in for over 30 years and we've been together for most of that time. I've seen it over and over and over and over. It's like, don't do that.
No.
Know that you're okay. It's like, for my husband, and this is a tip for all you deployed military people, okay? Put a calling schedule. For us, every Sunday morning, my time. So wherever we were in the world, wherever he was in the world, Sunday morning, our time, my time, is when we said we call. Because I'm usually home with the kids. The kids are usually home. We can all talk to him. We have something to look forward to.
Yes.
Okay. All week, it's like, hey, dad's calling, something to look forward to. We're not being the slave to the phone, and then it's like, whoo, another week down. Yay. Celebrate.
Yes.
And celebrate those little things. And it's like, and I told him, I said, here's the thing, my kids are okay because I'm okay.
That's right.
Okay. If you're okay, everybody else around you will be okay.
I think so. Yes, definitely.
Again, because you are the center of your universe.
We are.
You put out the vibes, you put out your vibe attracts your tribe, misery loves company. Well, so does happiness.
Yeah.
And I'd rather vibrate up here in the happy realm where things are great. And not everything is great, but it's easier to deal with also when you're up here than when you're down in the dumps.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Right. So it's like, yay.
Yeah.
So
I love the two sayings. You are the 5 people you hang around, and you can't give from an empty cup, or the glass is half full.
Well, so here's the thing. I'm just grateful there's something in it.
I know.
And here's the thing. It's like, what? So you're a pessimist if you see the glass as half empty. You're an optimist if you see it as half full. If you just drink what's in it, you're the opportunist.
That's right. Oh, yes. Well, I know a lot of people out there that are negative, that look at all the negative, and I've actually got pulled down along with them.
Right.
And it took taken me a while to pull myself back up out of that.
But here's the thing, that's part of the conditioning. Because here's the thing, when you look around you, you know, I don't watch news because it's same stuff, different day, and it's all sad and it's all negative. Right. And
I
it's
agree.
like, and there's people, first thing they do in the morning, they turn on the news to know what's going on. Throughout the day, they check the news. We're getting bombarded with negativity. I mean, if you watch TV and you watch commercials, every other commercial, it's for some disease that's just like you've never even heard of. And now all of a sudden you're freaking out. It's like, oh my gosh, I have these symptoms. You know, it's negative, 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 negative. And what we think about, we bring about. So when we think about all those things that are negative, we get more of that. And then we wonder why our life is the way it is.
That's correct.
Shift that. Pay attention. Yes. It's like, is this true? Is this really true? Is this really affecting me? Why am I letting this affect me? It has no bearing on me. Okay. It's like, I take inventory. I mean, it's like, I was diagnosed with MS back in 2003. I was diagnosed with lipedema, you know, and those are all things that's like most people like, oh, and I love it when people go, I'm so sorry. I'm like, don't be, please don't. Do not at any time be sorry for me. Be happy for me that I'm still here, that I'm still kicking.
This side of the grass.
Right. You know, it's like, because when we go, it's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I mean, if you say I'm so sorry, I mean, immediately notice how you feel. It's like, you go all shrink down.
It does. It does.
Right. Instead of just like, oh my gosh, you know what? I'm so happy you're here, that we can have this conversation. Yes. It's a whole different ballgame.
Oh, it sure is.
Right. It's so good.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely.
But it's like, pay attention to your self-talk.
That's right.
Because here's my question. Would you be offended if somebody talked to you the way you talk to yourself?
I agree 100%. I heard that the other day and it really stuck with me. Good.
It's important because we beat ourselves up over stupid things. Why?
We sure do. And we take responsibility for other people's stuff.
Yeah. And it's like, it's their journey. Honor their journey. Wish them well. Send them love. Move on.
Yes. 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 And that is
again, it's like conditioning.
Yes. It's the better way to be anyway. Take the higher road.
Yeah. It's like, but you know, it starts with you.
Yes, it sure does.
Your cup. Fill your cup with things that give you joy, that fill you up.
And give yourself permission.
Oh yeah. And here's the thing. You have permission.
Yes, I do. And you do too. And I am so glad you came on JoJo's Mojo with me.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. How can people find you?
You can find me on through my website, mattersofperspective.com.
Okay.
You can find me on Facebook, mattersofperspective.com. I also have a Facebook group, Happiness Matters. You can't miss it because it has the, you know, that guy. So you can email me at info@mattersofperspective.com. If you want to send me your story, send it to story@mattersofperspective.com. So
all right,
there's that.
Sounds nice.
Thank
you.
I
had such an awesome time with you.
Thank you for having me. It's such an honor. I love you.
I love you too, girl.